Hello everyone and welcome to another Saturday's Favorite video. In this video, we're going to be making eclairs. So to start off, we're going to be making our pastry cream, which is the stuff that goes inside the eclairs. This is because it takes at least 2 hours to set. So to start our pastry cream, we have 2 cups of milk. And to this, we're going to be adding in 4 egg yolks. Now, in my previous videos, you have seen me split them. So you can look back on those if you need to. And you can mix this together with a fork. So once it is mixed together, it should look something like this. You want it mixed together thoroughly though, so then it doesn't make scrambled eggs in the end. Alright, so over to a medium saucepan, you're gonna add in 1/4 of a cup of cornstarch, 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, and a pinch of salt. You're gonna whisk this together, and my stove isn't on at this point. At this point, you're gonna be adding in your 2 tablespoons of butter. It does not have to be softened or anything, just right out of the fridge. You're gonna add it in there. And then you're gonna be adding in your milk and egg mixture at little bits at a time, and you're gonna cook this at medium heat, and you're gonna want to whisk constantly as you're doing this. Alright, so it has finally reached a boil, as you can see. We're gonna let this boil for about a minute, stirring constantly still. Alright, so it has boiled for a minute. We're gonna turn off the heat and we're gonna move it to the side. Now that it's on the side, we're going to be adding in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and we're going to mix this together. Alright, so once it is out of the pan, you're going to put it in a bowl and you're going to push down the plastic wrap like this. This is so it doesn't make a weird top. And then you're going to refrigerate it for at least 2 hours so it can set properly. Alright, so now we're going to be working on the pâte à choux. So to begin with the pâte à choux, we have 1/2 cup of butter, which I cut into 8 cube-like pieces. And we're gonna put this into our medium saucepan. Next, you're gonna be adding in 1/2 cup of water, 1/2 cup of milk, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. So at medium heat, we're gonna stir this until the butter has melted, and you're going to want to use a spatula for this, specifically a rubber spatula. If you do not have a spatula, you can use a wooden spoon as well. Now that the mixture is simmering, we're going to reduce the temperature to low, and we're going to add in 1 cup of flour, and we're going to mix this together until it forms a big clump of dough. The dough ball should look something like this. So we're going to use our spatula and we're going to take out any clumps of flour there may be for about a minute. We're going to move this over to a bowl. This can be a stand mixer or hand mixer, whatever you want. And we're going to let this cool down for about 5 minutes. Alright, so the mixture has cooled down for about 5 minutes. So we're going to whip this on low for about a minute, just to make sure it's cooled off enough for the eggs to go in. So as it's mixing low, I have 4 eggs here that I've beaten. So you're gonna put them in one at a time in 30-second intervals. So the pâte à choux should look something like this when it is done. I did also save a little bit of the eggs for on top for the egg wash, about a few teaspoons of the eggs that I put in here before, and we're going to transfer this into a piping bag. I did try piping them, but my piping tip wasn't big enough, so I did end up kind of scooping it out with a spoon, but that's all right. To fix this, you're going to grab some water, and you're just going to wet your fingertip in the water, and it makes the dough easier to touch with the water. And also, I do want to mention that with the parchment paper, I did end up brushing it with some water, so then it would add more, it would make the oven more humid, which would allow them to get hollow in the inside. So you can make them nicer looking like I did down here, I'm just kind of spreading it out nicely with my hand and making it like a nice... Alright, so we're gonna finish off this by adding on some egg wash. So I just have a little bit of milk in here, and I'm gonna stir this, and I'm gonna use a pastry brush and I'm gonna spread it on there. And once I'm done doing that, we're gonna bake this at 400 degrees for 20 minutes, and then we're gonna lower the temperature to 350 degrees for 10 to 15 minutes, or until they are golden brown on the outside. Right, so here is how they look out of the oven, the pâte à choux dough. Now we're going to work on our glaze. They have cooled for about half an hour, and they're cool now. Now we're gonna start on our glaze. So I'm making a chocolate glaze. You can make a vanilla glaze or whatever, but today I'm gonna make a chocolate glaze. So the first ingredient we need is 3/4 of a cup of heavy whipping cream. Now you don't want to just use half and half or regular light cream. You want to make sure it's whipping cream because it will help form your glaze at the end. You're also going to add in about 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt in your bowl, and you're going to heat this in the microwave for 2-3 minutes depending on how fast your microwave cooks. Alright, so here it is of the microwave. It was in for about 3 minutes. That's a bit too long, so I'd say about 2.5 minutes. Now we're going to be adding in 2 tablespoons of butter. We're also going to be adding in 2 tablespoons of corn syrup in here as well. Mix this together. Alright, so now that the butter is melted, we're going to pour it into 1.5 cups of chocolate chips. I'm using milk chocolate chips, but you can use semi-sweet if you want. And we're going to mix this until the chocolate chips melt. So as you see, my chocolate chips aren't quite melted yet, so I'm just going to put this in the microwave for like about 20 seconds, and then they should be melted. Alright, so this is how the glaze looks when all the chocolate chips are melted. You can dip this onto your eclairs right away. So now we're going to work on assembling our eclairs. Alright, so this is how my eclair turned out. Thank you guys for watching the Saturday Save video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!